Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure today to explain one of my experiences about the importance of documentation in historical buildings. I'm not going to go over all the slides. I just focus on the second part, which is pathology or documentation of the building. In the northeastern of the country, there exists a complex of buildings. It includes two buildings, and they are only 1.5 centuries old. According to Persian standards, they are very young buildings, but anyway, you can see the view of these two buildings. In 2017, there was an earthquake in the region, which was quite strong. And after the earthquake, they realized that some cracks are visible or produced in the building, and they called for some experts in the country, and also they asked me to go and have a look. Their first hypothesis was that earthquake was the cause of all damage and cracks, and their initial restoration objective was to do a comprehensive seismic intervention of the building, which when we look at that, we say that might be too much. Then we started to the objective of my presentation is to show that if you have enough documentation before the accident, probably your intervention decision making would change, and it could be crucial in your decision. Let's have a look at the ISCARSA recommendation 2003 and also the guidelines 2024. What say about the documentation? In 2003 recommendations, as you see, data acquisition is a very important part. And when you go to the new version of the guidelines, again here, the main part also goes to initial evaluation, also and also the documentation. Hopefully, in 2011, 2013, and 2014, there were 3 independent studies and documentation of the buildings that helped us much for our decision to intervene. It seems that it's not working. Oh, okay. We did some. Well, if you ever look at the cracks after the earthquake, when we went to the building, this is what we documented. These are the cracks, but the cracks are mostly on the plaster, on gypsum plaster. And when you saw the building, you somehow were scared about the amount of damage. Even I had the same feeling. But when we went through even we somehow classified the cracks and everything, both on the building and on the facade and when we've compared, as you can see here, the pictures from that time, 2019 and 2013, we realized that exactly the same cracks existed on the facade or the main building, And also, as you can see, there was absolutely no change. And some cracks were developed, as you can see here. This is the new one, and this is in 2013. When you realize here, this was already there, but it was repaired, and the cause was settlement of that wooden beam behind. And we realized that in the earthquake, apart from the plaster of internal spaces, no other part of the building was damaged because of earthquake. 2, all damages were related to before the earthquake. 3, none of the damages were structural. And 4, all of the damages simply required localized repair. And there was no possibility of any settlement in the building because we tested. It means that by this conclusion, our strategy for intervention completely changed. And we went to a localized intervention instead of a structural and entire intervention. As you see here. And then our objective was to return the building to its pre-damage safety level because it had a good experience or behavior during the earthquake. And we decided to address the existing damages, improve structural integrity, keep minimum intervention using homogeneous materials, respect reversibility of our intervention. Also, at the end, we installed some monitoring system for future in order to get data and so on. Well, let me quickly go through what happened there. The roof was wooden. We did some investigation by some expert, and also we did some ultrasonic testing in order to make sure that the woods are in intact situation. And then we realized that we need to change or repair some of the woods. As you see here, this roof was a recent roof. It means that it was not historical, and therefore some parts of the woods which were deteriorated, we decided to repair them, or in 1 or 2 cases we had to change in order to keep the integrity of the structure. Even at that time, we classified all the wooden connections inside the roof, and also we documented all structural details. Another problem with the building was the moisture all around 2 buildings, and we realized that the same problem existed in previous decade. And when we investigated, we saw that some parts of the vent was blocked, and therefore we went for a solution for that. As you can see here, at the next step, according to ISCARSA guidelines, we had to refine our data collection and our analysis, and from qualitative analysis, we went through quantitative simplified analysis. For this reason, we had to do some geotechnical and groundwater studies, which included field studies, laboratory studies, and groundwater studies. And also, as you can see here, we took the materials, we did tests, we also went for groundwater studies. We had, fortunately, enough information from the from previous times, since say 30 years before, and also we did some mechanical tests and brick, adobe, and wood, which were there, and we had everything. And it at next step, we did some seismicity studies, and we had to do some studies of the region, and we designed the record of the earthquake, and also we did some structural analysis, which was quantitative refined analysis to make sure that the cracks that we observe exactly coincide with what we do in analysis. We did the same thing as you can see here, and when we went through the detail, we saw, yes, exactly where we observed some of the cracks in the plaster was because, but one of the main problem was with the roof, which was placed about say 20 years before, and the horizontal displacement was too much according to the top of the main building, and we had to somehow stiffen the performance. And then at the end, we designed a monitoring system for cracks, for temperature, and also for groundwater in order to have enough data for future generations. And I'm not going to detail, but monitoring, which is is the last part of this most of restoration plans, was designed as you can see here. I'm not going to explain the restoration plan. I directly go to the conclusions. You can just have a look at the slides without. Well, we try to use the traditional methods and traditional materials in order to increase the integrity of the structure, which is not time for me to explain. And at the end, I go to the conclusions. If I can get there. We designed a new system for vent. I'm not going to do to explain, but we add some drain wells because there was heavy rains there and there was no way to go, and then we made them in order to remove the rain and so on. Even we improved the type of plaster, and at the end we installed some monitoring systems. And my last slide is the conclusions, which this is the design for monitoring system, and my last, I hope I get my last slide. Yeah, let me, maybe I missed it. Okay. Could you? Yeah. Number one is the main.
Can you skip to the conclusion slide?
It doesn't matter if you can't do it. Without in an earthquake, never assume that all damage and cracks are caused by earthquake. First, compare the documentations and then go to the conclusion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mehrdad. It is incredibly, there's always so much material to cover and only so much time. We'll take one quick question. I don't have another mic to give you though. Can you shout the question and I'll repeat it? So one of the objectives was to go back to your original capacity.
How did you do it?
Could you repeat it?
So how did you determine what the original capacity was to ensure that when you went back to it, you would
Yeah,
use that?
and the second question is like this: do you in Iran have a code that says that after the intervention you have to have the ratio between
next.
capacity and design at a certain level? Because we here in Romania have this, and this is our biggest problem.
Yeah. Your second question is very good. Mustafa is working on that, and we have a working group, and what is the safety level, okay? At the moment, I don't have an answer for that. We should wait for 1 or 2 years, maybe. But how to make sure that we get back to the safety level before earthquake? Actually, we added some. We added some wooden elements in the roof. We for the other elements inside the main buildings, we somehow added some wooden elements inside, and also we increased the capacity of the plaster by adding some nets and so on. There was no time to do that. And also we did a micro modeling finite element of the one part of the wall, and somehow we realized that if a similar earthquake happens, the behavior of that wall is a bit better than before. This is how we got to that conclusion that we have reached to that level.